I'm in it deep, guys. I'm so invested, it's crazy. I just finished the episode, and typically I wait until the morning to film videos so that I can have sunlight. I thought I would make that a consistent thing for this Boys Planet series. But no, I have to film it now because I just finished it. Oh my goodness. I also like kind of cut it midway because I had to go outside. But anyway, originally I really wasn't that interested in watching this episode. I was just like, okay, I'll just watch it just to film a review and just kind of keep myself updated on Boys Planet. But I wasn't like that motivated to watch it because I am on Uni Twitter, which is like Universe Twitter, which is, Pentagon's fandom name. I'm sure you guys all know at this point that I'm a hardcore Pentagon fan. And they're in Paris right now. I wish I could be in Paris. If you're in Paris right now and you're joining the MIK festival, I'm so jealous of you. Anyway, I'm on Uni Twitter and it was a mess over there because 2 days ago the episode was released, or maybe a day ago, and everyone was like, oh my god, I hate Mnet, how dare they evil edit Hui to make him look like he's bad at singing. So I was like, honestly, really afraid to watch it. And I didn't want that to impact my feelings right now because I'm in a sensitive state. I'll explain later when it's all resolved. But anyway, I wasn't really in the mood to watch something that I know would destroy my emotions, something I care deeply about, which is Pentagon right now. So, yeah, I wasn't too into watching it, but I ended up watching it anyway, of course, and I am now really, really hooked. And I'll tell you guys all the details. I think I was more so hooked maybe 30 minutes to an hour into it. So, let's just start off with the very, very first part of this episode. And by the way, this episode was 2 hours and 43 minutes long. So almost 3 hours, which I think is crazy, and almost the first time Mnet's done this. I could be definitely wrong, but it's the first time out of Girls Planet and Boys Planet. Anyway, the first part of the episode starts off with the trainees still continuing their evaluations for the Here I Am Signal song. So, oh my god, I have a new pick now. Seo-won. I didn't get to vote for him in this round because I voted like halfway through the episode and I didn't really see enough of his talents. Like, I was gonna wait until I finished the episode, but I couldn't wait, so I just voted immediately. And Seo-won is definitely one of my picks now. I think someone commented about him and I was like, whatever. But no, I'm actually voting for him from now on. So the vote that I will show today to you guys, the vote that I did today will be different from my current picks, I guess you could say. Anyway, I really like him. He's good, and I'll talk about him later more because he also performed in this episode. Okay, and oh my god, there were a lot of strong trainees that they put out for the Here I Am monthly evaluations, honestly, and that didn't really have to do all of that and show a lot of these Here I Am performances, or I don't know, auditions? Star? I don't know, whatever. But yeah, Kim Junyeon, he's really good too. And then Park Hanbin, he's really good too. And Keita, he's also good too. There's a lot of good trainees, and Keita, oh my god, he has a lot of fans, and my sister is one of them. My sister, I think she watches it, but like pretty late, and she votes, but she kind of doesn't know who she's voting for. So half of them are her votes, half of them are kind of mine that I forced upon her. But anyway, yeah, he has a lot of fans, I noticed, and oh my goodness, I felt really, really bad for the Yuhua trainees, especially Kyubin, which I think is the first Yuhua trainee, the Here I Am evaluation that they showed. And oh my god, apart from Kyubin itself and him being literally Hui's son, have y'all seen his dog? Like, just search up Kyubin dog on. Does it search up on or pop up on Google? Well, I saw it on Twitter, or no, maybe TikTok. Yeah, I saw a TikTok of his dog. Okay, you can't search it up on Google. Oh, no, 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 it is. Oh my god. Wait, let me show you. He's... Can you even see that? Ah, oops. I'll make it really bright. Like, what? It's just so funny. His dog looks so funny, which has nothing to do with him. But no, he's just so skinny and just built so differently. Nothing wrong with that. I just think it's highly interesting because, I'm not too interested in dogs. Anyway, oh my god, watching all the Yuhua trainees gets me secondhand nervousness and almost not embarrassment, but I just really feel bad for them on their behalf for some reason. And I guess Yuhua really did force them to only practice kick it, that they couldn't really use their memorization skills. But then it doesn't explain the Yuhua G group trainings, which it seems like they're doing pretty good. But all the Yuhua K trainees, I feel like all of them are struggling a little bit. I don't know. But this episode, I actually noticed a lot of Zhang Hao screen time, just speaking of him. Yeah. I'm okay with him, honestly. Like, he's not like my top pick, but I'm sure he'll make it, honestly, on the top 9. I feel like he'll pull a shouting and barely make it, but I think he will debut. Anyway, it's really unfair that they decided to do like a whole evaluation session after the Here I Am, and they essentially what they did was show it to the other judges that weren't in the practice room. They videoed it and then they showed the judges, and essentially they revoted them. So if you got 2 stars the first round, you could be moved down to 1 star, you could be moved up, and it's just really unfair to give someone 2 stars and then later change them to 1 star. I can definitely understand if you're moving them up, but there's literally no reason to bring them down. I feel like that would really just hurt your emotions. What I've really learned through watching these survival shows is that you have to be an incredibly strong person to join survival shows. It's really not meant for everyone, and your mental has to be so incredibly strong for you to actually survive. And especially if you're more of the less talented, less trained individuals, then you're just gonna be like ripped apart. So yeah, that's one of the things I feel like you would have to consider if you want to join a survival show. I feel like a lot of small companies do send their trainees to survival shows because it's the best way to get recognition, especially if you're from a smaller company, because in these survival shows everyone is the same. It's not like you get a highly advantaged state even if you're from like JYP, let's say. Obviously you get that boost because, oh, you're from JYP, but honestly only pressures you even more, and you can be from an incredibly minuscule company and still be first, which I think is what's happening here. Song Hanbin, he is from an incredibly small company, barely known. I don't think any K-pop fan has heard of that company before Song Hanbin, but he is out here consistently placing first, obviously up until this round. But yeah, and Ollie, oh my god, I literally barely saw him throughout this episode, and the only time I saw him was when he was 0 stars and he wanted to go up on the little stage and see what it was like to be at least 1 star. And that makes me so sad because he got 0 stars, not because he's untalented. I think he definitely could have gotten 3 or even 4. I think 3 would be a safe choice, but anyway, he got sick. He and Chang, which is also another G group trainee, but they both got sick, so they were automatically placed in 0 stars. And this was during the Here I Am evaluation session. So yeah, they were automatically 0, but other than that I never saw him, which is really incredibly upsetting because he is, I think, my top pick now, but at the same time I don't see him, so I don't know what to do. And this really emphasizes the fact that screen time is everything when it comes to survival shows. You've got to be interesting for them to put you in. You've got to say something interesting, whether this be good or bad, otherwise they're going to manipulate you. But anyway, I feel like having an active role in these kind of survival shows is significantly crucial, but at the same time you can't really control it because it's really up to the editors at the end of the day. It could be the most significant person, the most loud and boisterous person in the room, but you might still be cut from editing. Yeah, and then we got into the parts where they actually decide the groups for the first rounds. So first rounds is where they essentially do, I don't know what's exactly called. I should maybe write that down, but it's essentially where they go against K group and G group. So there's, I think, 4 or 5, no, 6, 4, 5, I think 5 different songs that they choose, and for each song there's going to be 5 G group and 5 K group. Is it 6? Okay, 5 to 6. I'm not sure of the exact numbers. That's not really what's significant. But anyway, Hui placed first place for his fan cam views, which is amazing. I honestly did not stream that because at this time I was still shocked from him being a trainee, and I was like, oh my god, why should I even have to watch this? I'm not going to support him, because initially I wasn't going to support him. I wasn't even going to watch Boys Planet, but here I am now voting for him every day. Although there are some days where I was like, I just want him back to Pentagon. And I don't even know what I'm doing. Like, I think I'm pretty sure that I'm voting for him consistently now, but I'm going to be honest, there were some days where I did not vote for him because I wanted him back in Pentagon. But realistically, I don't think that's possible. Like not going back to Pentagon, but like me not voting for him is not going to not put him in the group. So I think it's better to just give him a better chance and rank higher, because that's what his purpose is, right? If he's on a survival show, might as well do it good. Anyway, he chooses the people that he's going to group with, and of course he chooses his 2 sons, Song Hanbin and Kim Gyubin. There's other sons, but that's his main sons anyway. I actually have never heard of Tang Hong Hai. That's what his name is written in Korean, but I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But he is who placed first for the G group fan cam views, and I've actually never heard of him, so let me know why he's first place. Maybe because he's talented, probably, but I've never heard of his name. Maybe it's because I'm not never really showcased him, but yeah, I haven't seen him much. Actually, let's just search him up because I'm curious as to what his evaluation was for the very first, like the audition round or whatever you'd like to call that. Hmm, 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 hmm. I don't know. I really do not know. Oh, he was the View guy with Kong. Oh, that makes sense because those two are really talented, and people were like, "Oh my God, they didn't get all stars," and it was because of their Korean pronunciation. Oh, I guess he's just a really talented guy. Okay, that makes sense, I guess. But if there's another reason, let me know. I'm not entirely sure. And oh my God, I love Matthew, guys. You guys know that he's one of my top two picks almost. And although it's kind of changed now, I'll explain later. But Mnet loves him too, I guess, which is great, but it's so obvious that they're trying to push him out and trying to almost force a storyline upon him, although he doesn't have anything too special. Obviously, he tried out for the center or killing part they call it now, not center. Killing part, main vocal, sub vocal one, and he all got downgraded, right? But they're really trying to force that storyline of him and making people feel bad for him. And they really don't need to do all that because he's already popular. But I'm glad Mnet likes him. But at the same time, if I was like a neutral watcher, not really caring about Matthew, I would be like, wow, this guy must have been really liked. Anyway, that Aju Nice team. Oh my God, I felt really bad for them because the communication must be really, really difficult for G group trainees, and it's unfortunate, but at the same time, that's kind of what they expected, right? And I would be so frustrated if I was trying to communicate and everyone doesn't really 100% fully understand what you're trying to say, and you still have like communication conflicts, you disagree on certain things. Resolving that, I think, would be a nightmare, and it's really brave of them to join these survival shows because they know it's going to be hard, and that added factor of miscommunication, I think, is just extremely difficult for G group. And yeah, I'm just like, I know, I'm like skipping from section to section, but I'm only commenting on the really, really significant parts that stood out to me personally. And then we get into Tao, which his fan cam ranked quite high. I think it was fourth or fifth place because he's not that talented and people made fun of him on TikTok for it. And like, I can kind of see why. He's like very motivated, and then later I'll talk about it. It just annoys me. But anyway, it's not about Ty. I can see why people like him actually. He's a very, he seems like a genuinely nice guy that's trying his best, although he's not the talented, definitely. He's still cute, and I can see why a lot of people do support him. My sister votes for him. I was like, are you kidding me? Why not vote for someone that's really, really talented? But after this episode, I can't really blame her. He seems to be at least trying, which I think is bare minimum, but at the same time, good for him. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. And then in that group, I think is he in that group? I'm not entirely sure. There's this guy named Im Chunso, and he really, really looks like Song Hoon from in Hyphen. I don't know. He just looks like a very he looks like someone that would already be an idol or already be an actor. Like he just seems like someone who would be very well rounded and talented, but he's not. So I'm like, that always surprises me. Every time I see his face, I'm like, oh, that guy should be popular, but he's not. You know? Like, I don't know. He just gives those vibes for some odd reason. And everyone, sorry, another new topic, but everyone said that Ricky is the new Chai Bing, but I feel like Christian is the new Chai Bing for being evil edited, for miscommunication. Oh my goodness. And honestly, I don't think it was completely out of nowhere. I think he was slightly ignoring Na Camden, who was the leader. So to provide some context, if you forgot, they were in a group. So the G group, I totally forgot what song, but Na Camden was the leader. And this guy, I don't know, he looks Korean to me. He speaks perfectly fluent Korean, so I'm gonna assume that he is in G group because he was from America, but his parents are Korean and he speaks Korean, whatever. But he's the leader, and then we've got Christian, who is a guy that can speak Chinese and Mandarin, I'm assuming. And the other members are mainly Chinese G group members, I believe. So he's trying to translate because he kind of understands Korean, is what I'm assuming. So every time Camden speaks, he follows and translates that, which is great of him. I really appreciate that, although there's no reason for me to appreciate that really. But he was evil edited because he was almost talking over Camden, and he was blatantly ignoring him, is what they tried to make it seem like. that was the view that was set upon us. However, I personally feel like it is kind of evil edited, but at the same time, I think it could be kind of worse because I think Camden genuinely felt ignored and kind of missing out on what Christian was saying. You know, like every time Christian says something in Chinese, which is great, he's translating and he's helping out the team. But you don't have to ignore Camden, if that makes sense. Like, you can still try to include him, and it's not evil editing from the fact that Camden felt ignored and he still cried, and people are like, why did he cry, you know, but like, I can see why he would feel left out, and I think that can be really frustrating when everyone else is speaking in a certain language, and they all like, oh, okay, and then I'm like, what are you guys talking about, and everyone ignores you. That would make me crazy, but I kind of feel bad for him. I don't know why, Camden, that is, and I don't hate any of them, I don't love any of them, that's just like my very unbiased view. Okay, next, we've got, this is a topic that I was very strongly agreeing on. Okay, I don't know why, but no one's really talking about this, so I'll talk about it. My sister watched it up until that part, so she agreed with me, so that's great, I guess, but no one on the internet is talking about him. I guess he's kind of irrelevant. Anyway, there's this guy named Choi Seung-hun. Choi Seung-hun, I think, yeah. Anyway, I searched him up, and he's an 08 liner, which is crazy. That's my sister's age, and I think he's the youngest member on there. About him, oh my goodness, I never spread anything really negative on their internet. I don't really have generally negative views on anything, I don't think. Anyway, he just seems really unmotivated, and that's just like terrible to see, because if you're on a survival show, if you've made it this far, come on, you've got to have something, and that something can be motivation. Even if you're as untalented as Tyler, which I don't mean to compare them, I honestly haven't seen any of Choi Seung-hun's any fan cams or videos, so I wouldn't know anything about his talent, but just seeing how unmotivated really turns me off. And he directly said, I wrote this down and directly translated it to English, and I think you kind of get the point better if it's in Korean, but a translation will do. He says, I don't even have any confidence that even if I practice really hard, I'll be able to sing well. So if I kind of solve this out, he's saying that, oh, well, even if I practice hard, I know I'm not going to be able to do it, so why bother? It's kind of his attitude. Like, when the others are pushing him, no, you should take this part, you should try for other parts so that you can at least get more screen time. The others are kind of guiding him towards that, and he's like, no, I don't want to do it. I'm not going to do it well anyway. Why even try? Is what he's doing, and I'm like, why? And that's not even editing or anything. I think that's just generally his attitude, which is just a little bit upsetting to see, honestly. Maybe it's because he's young, but at the same time, like, you're in grade 9. I think you've got enough life skills to at least be motivated. You know, if you're a trainee, and he's not an individual trainee, I searched it up, he's in Luvie Entertainment, and I even wonder how he was sent to Boys Planet, because he genuinely doesn't seem like he wants to dance or sing and become an idol. He seems like he's forced to be there. And it's not like We Entertainment is an actor company, because some companies do send actors on there on purpose. Cough, Pak Do-woo, which I do like him. I've kind of grown to him. Oh, wait, that's literally the next point. That's crazy. Anyway, yeah, I'm just a little bit disappointed at people like that, and I think lack of talent is totally understandable. You can overcome that with motivation and trying hard. Even if you are extremely talented and you're not motivated, you don't want to really try for anything else and go beyond your talent, we've got a trouble there. And I honestly don't think he's the most perfect person in the world, so he should at least try. But that's just my opinion. And that's something that can't be evil edited, so that's my statement on that. If you disagree, feel free to. If you think I'm being too harsh, I personally don't think so. But I mean, me saying this is not going to impact him anyway. Like, me telling him to try more isn't going to, make him try more. Anyway, next point, more of a happier point. That's like the only negative thing on here that I have. Let me drink water. I typically don't drink out of plastic water bottles because it's just not good for the environment. I always bring a water bottle around, but today I drink everything. And I had a Vietnamese sub, so I'm a little bit thirsty. Okay, I'm really growing on Pak Do-woo for some weird reason, and a lot of people are as well. Like, I saw on TikTok, there's a lot of his fans, and at first I was like, come on guys, why vote for him? Like, it's clear that he wants to be an actor, but at the same time, later he announced that he actually does want to become an idol, and he seems like he's really motivated. And I initially thought everyone was liking him just because he's pretty attractive looking, and at least he's got that confidence, even with the lack of talent. And yeah, he definitely does. I can see why people like him because he's actually motivated, which connects to the last point. He actually has confidence in himself, even though he's not the most perfect, talented, well-rounded individual, and he tries hard. He tries hard and he's got motivation. So I think that's something that's really comparable, if that makes sense. Yeah. Anyway, I'm voting for him. If you aren't, that's okay. Okay, next. Sohan being literally a perfect idol, giving up his, I think it was a killing part so that others can shine more. Really perfect idol, like just visuals, talent, personality, everything about him is just so perfect. We all know he's gonna be in the group. I think the question is whether he's going to be in first place or not. I think he'll be in first place, but we never know. We're literally just in the first round. He even haven't seen any of his performances technically yet, so I mean we saw the very first one, but other than that, like the audition one. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Maybe he should have gotten the killing part though. It makes me a little bit nervous for Hui's team. Yeah, they left off at the cliffhanger, right? And of course they do that. Hui is literally the attention grabber, so I don't really know why. Well, actually, I know why. Come on, Mnet is notorious for being rude to those who bring attention to the group. Like, they literally used Fuyaning last season, like for Girls Planet, to bring attention and make that mess between Yujin and Fuyaning when really things were just fine between them, and she was probably forced to say that line. And yeah, they just take advantage of that to make some tea before the um, show starts, and then they treat her like badly, and that's kind of what's happening to Hui. If it wasn't for Hui, I don't think Boys Planet would be as popular as it is now, and it's really upsetting because he brought all the attention, he brought basically the money at the end of the day, right? But why are they treating him like this? It just really upsetting to see for me as a fan, and for him too, because this was a big risk. Imagine being a 7-year idol. Like, wouldn't it be almost embarrassing to go on a survival show and be humbled, basically? It's like a big risk, and they're not treating him the way he should be treated. Like, you can do the bare minimum and treat him like any other trainee, but why do you... Okay, that's gonna be for later. Sorry, I really got into there. Like, I don't even know what to say. I'm just, like, really mad at them that I think the title for the second episode review should have been saved for this. Yeah, it's gone to the point also that I have so many picks that I honestly don't know who to pick for. Okay, next we've got Kong, and oh my god, his vocals are so good. And his name honestly kind of makes me laugh a little bit because in Korean it's Kong and Kong is bean. And it's just like really cute because it fits his image, and I don't know, a funny name like that you would expect someone with more so funnier talents, if that makes sense, more someone like Takuto, you know? Like, he's cute, like that. But at the same time, Kong is so good, and really you can rely on his vocals, and I think his performance was, for Ajunice, was really, really good. And Sewon, oh my god, I really, really liked his Ajunice performance. His stage presence is really good. He has really good energy. I'll definitely vote for him next time, so don't you guys wait. Okay, and then honestly, G Group Ajunice I think would have been 100% if it wasn't for that one voice crack. But still, it's really, really minor, and I honestly think all of these oh my god, I almost knocked over my water bottle. Anyway, I think all of these performances were really, really good, especially if you compare them to Girls Planet. But at the same time, we haven't seen the bad groups, if that makes sense, like the lower ranked groups yet. I think the ones on here were the more so better groups, so I guess we'll have to see to make that final judgment and compare that to Girls Planet. But so far it's really, really good. There's nothing too terrible, if that makes sense. And K Group Ajunice, there was a main vocal using on. I voted for him a while ago. I stopped voting for him. Maybe I will do it again, but I'm impressed by him once again. I think the only part where he did bad, because he's a Yuha K Group trainee, was the Here I Am evaluation. But otherwise, he did really, really good. I think there's a lot of people that I'm impressed with this episode, which makes voting a lot more difficult. And I feel like you guys can relate to this, making voting really, really difficult once you get into these rounds. And I know this sounds really, really evil, but I'm kind of excited. Not excited, that's a terrible word choice, but I'm honestly relieved that there will be eliminations soon that I can pick easier, if that makes sense. I don't know, that sounds really mean. And I obviously don't want my picks to go away. And a lot of my picks are actually like barely 52, if that makes sense, rank 52, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah, they're cutting everyone, like everyone but 1 to 52, and I think there's about 97 or so trainees, so about half of them are flying away. Anyway, okay, sorry. That was really, really crucial sounding, or not crucial, what am I saying? Rude sounding. Okay, yeah. Head voice is used in Ajunice, and I feel like that would be so hard with the difficult choreography. Like, what part of it is it? It's like right before the chorus, like the part where it gets slower and then the intervals almost stop. Yeah, it's really hard, and I feel like controlling that is extremely difficult, which I think some of the trainees did kind of struggle with, but at the same time, they did really, really good. I personally think that G Group should have won. I think they had a better energy overall, but I can definitely see why K Group won as well. There's a lot of K Group members that were favored by the audience, and they did really good too. They both did really good, so I think it would have been quite difficult for the audience member to tell. And at the same time, I think it's really different if you're watching it on screen with all the editing that's honestly influencing you. Editing is an influencing factor, and I know Mnet editors are terrible, and evil editing is done from time to time. I was wondering when it would come, and here it is, evil editing. But at the same time, I really do respect them because they're good at it. They're really good at manipulating people's emotions, and I hope to be as good as editing, but I hope to use it in a better way, if that makes sense. Like, they're good at it, but at the same time, they're using it in a bad way, right? But they're good at it. So I have very conflicting emotions. Ow, frick. Ugh. Sorry, my leg just pulled. Okay, calm down, Irene. Whoa. You know, if you watched Young Attorney Woo. Is that the title in English? I don't know. Okay. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. G Group, Ajunice, the mistakes were a little less significant, which is why I would vote for them. And we get on to the Love Me Right team. And these teams are crazy because we've got the Hui team. Wait, Love Me Right. Sorry, guys. I meant Kill This Love. I got ahead of myself. Sorry. We've got Kill This Love. This team it's a little bit obvious that who would win. But honestly, I don't know. Because initially it was obvious because the team members were really, really strong for G Group, and K Group were slightly the leftovers. So we've got Zhenghao, and then there's Haruto, and then we've got K Group team as well. And in the K Group, there's one of my picks, so it's slightly, it's a new pick, so it's slightly biased, but let's just talk about the G Group team first. Zhenghao, I really, really admire that he tries to speak in Korean despite his accent. It's honestly kind of cute, how he tries his best to speak in Korean, and, I can automatically tell when it's him talking, because he has this very unique accent, if that makes sense, where he drags his very last syllable. I don't know. Honestly, I was not expecting that from Matthew in the Kill This Love team, because I thought he was gonna be more so on the cuter side, because on his audition stage he did All I Wanna Do, which is more of a lighter, more of a, if you were to put it on the spectrum of cute to darker, it would probably more so be on the cute side, and I was expecting that from him, but at the same time he absolutely killed that Kill This Love stage, and now I kind of want to see more from him, other concepts apart from dark concepts. I think if there was another girl group song that was more so on the cuter side, I think that would have been better as well, because a lot of the song choices were boy group songs apart from Kill This Love, and Kill This Love honestly seems a little bit darker, which is what typically boy groups do. So you guys know I favor more so of the lighter, summarier concept. So I think something like that would be really, really nice. Obviously there was Ajunice, but that's about it. Anyway, Leap J, oh my god, she's a really, really good judge. And if Lee Hwanhee, I think was a trainee, he made a significant mistake while he was dancing alone or with another G Group member, because they were comparing the two. Anyway, he made a mistake in front of the judges, and honestly, Lipjo was so nice about it, and she was like, oh, it's okay. And if it was any other judge, maybe apart from Sorji, they would have ripped him apart to death. Oh my goodness, they would have killed him absolutely. But Lipta is just like, whatever, you know? And she like genuinely enjoys the performances when they are performing, when anyone is performing, which I really, really like. And as for Kill This Love, I think boy groups did really, really, or both groups, not boy groups, they're both boy groups, but both groups did really, really good. But G group did start it off quite strong, so I thought G group would win. And spoiler, if you weren't spoiled throughout this entire video, yeah, they made it in, or they won. And the benefit of winning essentially is you get an M countdown stage, so you almost get to make your debut stage, if that makes sense, but you're not really debuting. Yeah, G group really made it, like, made a good start with nothing really to touch on, which I think is amazing. And yeah, J, now we move on to, okay, I like got ahead of myself again. We get into Love Me, right? Yeah. And these teams are really, really strong because we've got Haruto, J, and then, yeah, ignore what I said earlier about Haruto and Janghao. I don't know why I was saying that. J, Haruto, and then we've got Hui, you know, Hanbin, we've got Gyuvin. The competition is crazy. Okay, so there was this part where they were practicing and both groups were in it, and the vocal judges and the rap judges were judging them. And Jay did great. I think his vocals are out of this world. His vocals are really, there's a certain touch to it, which is very stage presence like, without him making any stage presence expressions, if that makes sense. I think he's a good example of taking advantage of stage presence without the expressions factor. And why I usually say expressions is the key to stage presence is because it's the easiest way to do it, and it's almost like a cheat key to it. However, using stage presence on your voice or on your rapping or in your dancing without any expressions is really difficult. And he has expressions as well, he definitely does, but no, he's got a special factor. He did great, but the judges were so obviously biased. Like, we did amazing. Why are they trying to look or make Hui look bad? Is my question, and I guess it's just for more drama. Like, oh, we didn't do that good. Oh my god, I heard Hui failed. Is what my friend was saying. She doesn't even like K-pop, or like she likes K-pop, but she only really looks at K-pop through TikTok. So she's not very well informed on TikTok. And so she's going around saying, yeah, I heard Hui didn't do that good. I was like, I'm gonna rant to you like crazy. But no, the judges, it makes me so frustrated because here's a tweet that I saw, and I really have to show you this. And this is the part where it gets really, really upsetting for me personally. Okay, just give me a sec. This is so sad. Okay, so it's just like a tweet from a random, I'll read it out to you. So, the page refreshed and lost the post. This is from like an international universe. Pentagon fan. Fan. But there was this one post, a Korean post that mentioned before the mentors say any critique about Hui, they firstly look sideways at the staff/PD, then they start talking. I've seen both PH1 and Im Hanbyeol do this. Is this all a sick plan? This made me so mad because, and this is like true because they saw a Korean person pointing this out, and this person wasn't really a universe or anything, it's just like the universe retweeting that. And they were probably at the performance itself because they had audience members, and essentially every time they have to critique something and say a message, they have to look to the PD. Why? Because they have to set a certain storyline for Hui that makes sure it all makes sense and goes smoothly on their plans. So even if he did really good, they can manipulate everyone's thoughts by saying, oh, you kind of lacked on this certain part, right? So I'm sure like the PD or the staff are saying, okay, we're gonna say something good, or maybe they say, no, let's add something so that we can, you know, change the plot of what it originally is so that they can almost manipulate the situation. So this is quite different from evil editing because they're not directly trying to make Hui look bad and manipulating his words per se, but they're trying to make him look bad by influencing you, because if the judges say something, you're probably going to agree with it, you know? And that's the sad situation about survival shows. No reality TV show is real. I'm sure everyone knows that. It's never reality. It's always going to be scripted to a certain extent. It's always going to be manipulated so that it's more interesting to watch. And am I disagreeing with reality shows? Am I opposing them? No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, we all know it's content. But there are people that don't know that it's all scripted and that it's all manipulated. And sometimes I'm sure that I've fallen for it multiple times. But that's just a reality of it. And I was actually thinking of this even before reading this tweet. Just thinking of how, all of these judges, they're all told to say something. Like, let's say, I don't know, even in the audition round, I don't know, I'm just gonna take Sakura for example. Her audition was great. It was great. And if you guys remember, it was just like a solo performance. And this was the very first performance that they did back in Produce 48. And she was good. But the judges gave her an A. Like, all of that is manipulated. And Boys Planet, they're really trying to push out that this is an organic show. They don't manipulate the votes. Sure, you don't manipulate the votes, but you're manipulating how the audience feels, and you're manipulating how certain trainees look and how talented certain trainees are. And it makes me so mad. But at the end of the day, I can't do anything about it because it's the show writers that are controlling everything. If they have to make we look bad, they've got these judges to kind of get on that as well. And people are going to really, really think that these judges are made out to say something, but in reality is. And things like that really just prove it. Audience members notice that they have to get approval from the staff to say a certain thing, because if not, it doesn't go with the storyline. And if it doesn't go with the storyline, it's going to make getting attention to the show really difficult and making this show more difficult. And I just wanted to rant about that because it's just a frustrating situation that I wish that people would know more about, but I know it's not really, like, I know a lot of people watch my videos and I'm really thankful for it, but at the end of the day, I can't reach all Boys Planet followers, right? Or people that are watching this show. So that's my quite extensive rant on how survival shows are not real. And this is no hate on Jay. I think he's a really talented guy, and he's honestly like a standard idol, similar to hanbin, but in a really different way. He's giving like pop artist, almost, I don't know how to describe it, but he seemed like a very center kind of guy. Like, he seems like the perfect center. And of course, my opinion is going to be somewhat biased to a certain extent, although he is not my ultimate bias, nor my bias in Pentagon, nor my bias wrecker in Pentagon. I still really, really like the guy. Duh. And he's a really talented person. It's just horrible that he has to be on the show. That he's having to be evil edited by Mnet. And just, like, it's just gonna hurt his feelings even more. That just makes me really upset. Like, everyone on survival shows, I really worry for them, because one thing wrong and they're gonna be evil edited by Mnet, and that's gonna be the new news. So that's why I try not to get, too judgmental when I watch these survival shows. If there's something genuinely that they did that was bad, then I'm gonna comment on it, and it's obvious that there's no editing involved, no other external influences that make the show look, or make the person look bad on purpose. Like, let's take, I don't know, do you guys remember that girl Hayne or something from Girls Planet, where she was really, really lazy, she didn't really contribute much to the team, and while everyone was practicing, she was kind of laying there and like not wanting to practice? Things like that are not evil edited, unless they are cutting out the girl, putting her sideways and making her say something. They're not gonna do that. And something like that is so obvious that she's not unmotivated. And I don't know why I really despise people that are unmotivated, but I don't despise them. You guys know that. Just like, do not prefer, let's just say. And yeah, things like that are not evil edited, and I think things like that can be commented on. But other things, like, let's say the Christian example, Christian and Camden, I think that's just kind of pushing it a little bit too far. Okay, that was a lot, but we're gonna get into the votes suddenly. I don't know why. I feel like, I don't know if I feel refreshed for telling you guys all of that, or I don't know if my heart is even heavier for having to share all of that. I hope that wasn't too much negative energy, and I don't know, I never tried to spread anything too negative on my channel, but at the same time, I'm really, really honest. So I just had to say it. Okay, here are my votes. So we've got Ihetek. I love you, Hui. And then we've got Park Do-ha. Again, I'm growing on him. I might change him out because he's just not top pick. But anyway, next we've got Lee Dong-gun, because he deserves it. And oh my god, what place was him? I wrote this down. 50th place? Come on. He deserves better than that. So I'm voting for him so he doesn't get eliminated. Because he's like right on it, right? And then Chang Jun, and he was on the Kill This Love team, I think. Yeah. And he is 60th place. So if you have any sparing votes, definitely vote for him. Chang Jun. JangYeoJun. That's how you spell it. And if you've got another vote to spare, the next one is Lee Dong-gun. LeeDonggun. Thank you. And then next we've got Umuti. Not the biggest fan of him, but at the same time, it's kind of funny because I'm voting for Umuti and Camden, the two rivals as Mnet makes it out to be. I don't know, someone else was really rooting for him, and he's lower ranked, so why not? And he's really good at singing for some reason. I don't know why I'm so surprised. I thought he wouldn't be that talented. I don't know. A lot of surprises. I think I kind of assume. Wow, that's terrible of me. Now that I realize it. It's not terrible. Because I'm just like, oh, I feel like that guy wouldn't be the most talented. And then he is. And I'm like, oh, maybe he is. And then I obviously extremely changed my initial opinion. Why am I sharing? It's the side my iPad telling me to stop oversharing. It's not that oversharing. You guys already know that I love talking about everything and anything. 2 water bottles. How crazy am I? This is water from yesterday, so just in case I don't want like a stomach flu. And I know I'm not going to get stomach flu from a day-old water, so I'm going to use it to water plants. No wasting water here. So I'm keeping it. That's why I haven't thrown it out. Duh. Okay, anyway. Again, I'm oversharing. Oh my goodness. Where was I? Oh, by the way, I ran out of storage, so I deleted some files. That's kind of the reality of owning an iPad. Oh my god, is it just me or my iPad, it charges so slowly. I will charge it literally, kid you not, for 5 hours. I've tried this at school and at my house too, but I feel like it's a waste to charge it at my house, so I charge it at school. That's my little secret for you guys. Something I don't tell anyone except everyone that sees my iPad charging in the band room. Why am I like saying all my sins here today? Sin, charging iPad at school. Anyway, I charge it for, what did I say, 5 hours or so? Like, I think 4 to 6 hours, let's just say, to be safe. And it literally only charges 40%. So what does that mean? 10% an hour. What? It's just so slow, and it's such a waste because it drains pretty quickly too. And for those telling me to check my iPad battery health, thank you for that. However, my iPad is one of those, it's not a new iPad. It's like a iPad Pro, maybe 2017, 18 or so, somewhere then. And it doesn't have battery health, so I can't even check it. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Okay, and then we've got Song Matthew. You guys know already, I like him. Ma Jing-xiang, because I felt bad for him. Because him and Ollie were like 0 stars because they got sick. And then I've got Ollie, and then I've got Camden, because I think he's genuinely talented. And I saw a post from his dad, which shouldn't be an influencing factor, but I thought, hey, I kind of feel bad. So, here are my picks. They're bound to change. Sorry. I ate apple mango, so that's trying to digest now, I guess. Anyway, I love apple mangoes, by the way. I should do a mukbang one day. Oh my god, I've got the hiccups. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know how this show is going for you mentally. If you are struggling mentally because of this show, don't be too invested in it like me. Oh, bye-bye.